So thank you very much for giving this opportunity. I have my teacher in front of me, Professor M.S. Shriram, who gave a wonderful talk long ago, and that motivated us to go through some of the things which remains to be answered. So in the morning session we had a good talk in which about architecture, about the dams, about longest surviving fort, the musical pillars. So what is the basis? How they can go to that perfection? Unless otherwise, the concept of meteorology, the measurements were not known to them, it would have been next to impossible. So I'll give you some of the ideas, and I know that this session is delayed by 45 minutes, so I will try to compress. The only thing is, to youngsters, I would like to showcase that what were the different kind of units that were used and what precision in measurement was actually practiced, and they have perfected to a level that they could achieve so many whatever we see in terms of marvels, we can look at because of those things. So I'll not go in those details because when I go again and again through Shruti, Manan, and last time Dr. Ram Subramaniam asked me a few questions that what is Yojana, how can you say that this Yojana is universal, something like. So again I have to go again and again, and this is the process by which our knowledge progresses. And Professor Srinivas was talking about why we need to have this ancient knowledge system, the Bharatiya knowledge system to be known. So I take analogy that if you don't have your roots connected to ground, then you are a bonsai. So you cut your roots, you grow abnormally, and that is a form of art practiced in Japan. So after the advent of Britishers, we all became some kind of bonsai. We would have grown a much larger, longer, taller tree for showing the path of leadership to the world. So that is what requires, and whatever cognitive abilities we develop over a period of time during the civilization progresses, it is only possible when we are again rooted to the system. So that is what the process, and it is already talked about by Professor Ramasubramaniam. He gave some of the issues, how we have the ancient texts, the primary sources, and then secondary sources, and how many perturbations are there inside. So the challenge is how to get rid of those perturbations. So we are actually sometimes, we have access to the secondary sources, and sometimes secondary sources, the interpretations what we find is not correct. So you have to refer to the original text, that is Vedas, Upanishads, and many other texts, which is very difficult because all they are cryptic, and to decipher the meaning, to interpret is a challenge. But if I talk about meteorology, this concept is quite old. One example is Manusmriti, and also this was practiced by Chanakya in his Arthashastra, Kautilya Arthashastra. There is one chapter that talks about the importance of measurements, why we should have a standardization of measurements so that no cheating is there, the trade becomes is facilitated with the help of these measurements. So these are many such things, and we all know we start learning physics with the chapter on the measurement. So why can't we go through our own ancient systems wherein this was perfected long back? And there are many other issues. Sometimes we are connected not only to the texts, but also we are told that somebody else came from outside. The history is also distorted. The Aryans, they came, and then the Vedic period is not yours. This is all like, so that should also be kept in mind. And these are some of the things which gives you the intent, why I am keeping all these things here. Today in the morning, Dr. Iyengar from IIT Ropar, he talked about two more Vida domains of knowledge, which is generally considered pseudoscience. They are all sister disciplines, be it Vastu Shastra, be it Ayurveda, be it your another important thing is we call it astrology, the Phalit Jyotish, but in the back end, you have many such things which are based on observations, meteorology, the measurements. So these are some of the things which need to be understood. He referred very rightly that Vastu Shastra means that you should not have a window on this side or that side, but we forget that the concept of Vastu Mandal, we are bringing harmony with the nature and also bringing all the good practices that an architect should possess. So these are some of things which are there. So we have to integrate all those things. These three sisters are to be not ignored. They have to be looked at from a perspective that what knowledge they have and how they are useful. The other challenge which was referred today by Dr. Ram Subramaniam, that many traditions were there which is just like becoming extinct. The way organic species are getting extinct, the languages, the dialects are getting extinct, the way the different branches of the knowledge, they are also getting extinct. So to catch hold of the scriptures and also those who know the language in which those scriptures are there, that is another big challenge which need to be understood and should be given importance. And it is all myth. Aryans they were not the people, those who made us civilized. And there are many such theories are there. What is our extent, where the Vedic period is there. So these theories, they serve a different, because I have to, I'm trying. I'll leave these slides with the, yeah, I know, but the time is short. We are running behind the schedule, 45 minutes. I'm covering that time by reducing my talk. I'm giving only those important points which people should know. These are all like standard available things. This Indian theory, when we had the DNA-based studies, we found that this is a myth, and the genetic pool myth suggests that nobody came from outside. This is all our people who have grown, who have contributed to the civilization. Again, some kind of perturbation is there that how this caste system came out of that, how can you correlate it with the genetic sort of, these are all like making you think otherwise. But these studies are now potently suggestive that nobody came from outside. We are all people native from this place. There are many other issues which need to be understood, and that is we should date. When we say something that it is in these texts, so Dr. Srinivas gave a very vivid historical development of several things. So many such things are there. We need to put in right perspective by having a systematic study. The chronology should be established. The dating should be done. And you might have seen today, remember that Brihat Samhita and also the text which Dr. Ram Subramaniam showed, the paper on which the text is written. How old is that text? Which era this text belongs to? How it evolved? So now the technique is there. We can always employ those techniques and find the correct dates. So these are some of the things which need to be looked at. The only thing is that we have to ask why this civilization has reached to such a lofty level several millennia ago and that got depressed. We all know the reason, because of the colonial power, because of many such things, because of disconnect to those sources, because of Sanskrit taking back seat. These are some of the things which should be the reason. And then the script, sometimes they also not properly deciphered, and these are all the missing dots, missing connects, which need to be studied. And now the emphasis is there on Bharatiya knowledge system, so it is right time that we should also look at all these issues. So you know, these are the places where the civilization flourished. Very recently we have found another place next to Madurai, that is Kiladi, is there. And these are the places where we get remnants. You have seen Shekhar Pandey ji, he was speaking about how these molar teeth were found, the drilling was found, the ancient surgical practices were found. Likewise, for measurements, the way you use this different scales, those scales were also found on those places, and they are not differing from one place to other place. They have uniform graduations on those scales. So if you go by, and then the names are also changed. If you look at the original sources in Rig Veda, you will find many rivers which were flowing at that point of time. They have now changed their name, but we can always associate with them that at what time. For example, Saraswati. Saraswati is missing now. But at one point of time, Saraswati river was in existence. In Prayagraj, Allahabad, it is a confluence of three rivers where you can see only two rivers, Ganga and Yamuna. Saraswati is not found. But now, with the help of geochronological data, the techniques of accelerated mass spectrometry, we are trying to establish and also find the ancient paleo channels which are actually remnants of that Saraswati river. So they also give a good idea about how our civilization was flourishing and what was the spread of our civilization. That is all given in the original texts, which may have found a different name in coming centuries after that original texts are there. And the symbol of Shiva is continuity of civilization. You'll find everything. I'm not going to again give the details. You see the moon, you see the Ganges, you see the ox who is there, right? So when the domestication of animals was there, and then all the ganas, they symbolize that there is a continuity of all the civilization that came one by one. So that is again a kind of, हम जिसको बात करते हैं ना कि लाक्षणिक अर्थ उसका है कि कहीं पर कोई सिंबल है तो उस सिंबल के पीछे उन्होंने कोडिफाइड इंफॉर्मेशन रखा हुआ है कि ये इंफॉर्मेशन आपको इस प्रकार लेना है. Now it is up to you that how you decipher all those things. So this is all the significance, and these symbols are also found in all those excavations in which you can see a river flowing from rivers, Nandi the bull, tiger, the skin which he wore. It was the ancient, everything is in one go. You'll find showing the continuity of culture in one such symbol of Nataraj. So I'll go to the first part, the length, how we used to measure, what was the metric. So you would have studied MKS system, FPS system, CGS system. But in our system, we used to measure the length by hand and also with the help of angul. Angul is, you say anguli, that is finger. The width of this angul, the question will come to your mind that everybody like a child, a strong man and also a small heighted person, it will all differ. But they took this and they made it standardized. So definition comes from where? Digit it is angul, cubit is this one, and person's height is purush. So this is what they defined. The way you said foot, pound, second. Foot is what? When you walk, the distance between two steps is 1 foot. So that was British system. But we found this. And now you see this scale which is found in different places, be it Harappa bronze scale, you see the graduations, and these graduations are serving two purposes. It is a kind of nakshatra scale. It is also measuring the the astronomical observations are also taken, and also the distance linear measurements are also taken. So you can see here this V kind of shape is there, and if you find the distance between two graduations, that is all same, and be it Lothal side or Kalibangan side, you will find that the length or the distance between these two is about 1.77 centimeter, something like. So this was uniformly, and it is also found elsewhere outside India at that point of time. So Lothal ivory scale, Kalibangan terracotta scale, the scales are there which you can see on this, and the accuracy is 0.01 angul. So metrology, the concept was present there, and people practiced the precision in measurement in length, weight, as well as time. And these are all like, and then you'll find a text in which barley, the grains, they were also considered as 1 unit. In some cases, linseed was also taken as 1 unit, and then they made it standard. So this is precise scale in which finally we found it about 1.6764. So angula is precisely this much value, and we have gone through a systematic study. The other numbers are discarded, and this number comes out to be 1.6764. Whatever be the site, the Mohenjo-daro, Sumerian, or Lothal, Kalibangan, or Harappa, these scales are, and they were engraved on, they were found as engraved on the walls of temples, ancient temples, for example in Kanchipuram in South India. So not only the way, if you find it out in your textbook, somebody will say कि वो पेरिस में एक प्लेटिनम इरिडियम का एक धातु रखा है, इतना लंबा है, उसको 1 मीटर कहते हैं. That is what the definition you had in early days. Likewise, where to preserve those standards? So in temple, that graduation was marked so that whosoever wants to make it ratified, verified, you can go there. And then that is what made universal, uniform across the civilization. And these are other studies in which you can find the digit or the palm or the foot or cubit or dhanush, which was also used one such unit. That is all available, and I'll keep my slides here. It is not that I have done the exhaustive study and it is all complete. It requires further developments in terms of finding out the original sources and corroborate the evidences in a nice manner. So another quantification was done with the help of the different measurements were there: speck of dust, tip of hair, louse, grain of barley, and if you go one by one, angula is 1 finger width, vitasti is like this, danda, kosh, and yojana, and finally, how many yojana comprises of Earth circumference. So these are all studied by many people, and I have taken from Francis, who studied it in 1998, and he found some closeness with the values adopted during the British colonial period. So again, this table is from different other sources like Buddhayan Sulba Sutra, then Kautilya's Arthashastra, Aryabhatiya, Varahamihir's Brihat Sangita, and Lilavati of Bhaskar. You see, all these sizes are having a measurement value which is given there. And in Chanakya's Arthashastra, you will find many other ways of representing the measurement values. Time does not permit, neither it requires to go into those details. The idea of this particular talk is to appraise you that it was not by some kind of ad hoc measurement, it was all done systematically to come at a precision of measurement. So that is what the purpose is. Today in the morning, it was also referred that why we needed 10 to the power something, जो कोटि का कॉन्सेप्ट है, ऐसा क्यों था? और आप देखिए कि 10 to the power 53. In some of the texts, they also showed that it is more than that. That means we used to measure larger distances also. So, and also in terms of the time which are there, that is concept of yuga and many other concepts were there which we need to understand from the perspective of our ancient people. For example, Lok and Visva, they defined that there is 7 lokas, and every loka has got different units. The way, like today also, if we have to talk about galactic measurements, we don't use meter, we use parsec, we use some other unit. For example, in different lokas, the measurement units were also different. So 7 lokas, 7 Vishwas, and this is what is given in Rig Veda, that we had 7 yojanas and 7 yugas, and these 7 yojana and 7 yugas were used in different contexts. For example, for astronomy, the yojana was something different, and in case of human use, which is given in Lilavati, the yojana was something different. So we have to understand, we should be not judgmental that all the yojanas were of different. They were used for a purpose, for a different loka, and then that was quantified that way. So last time when I was objected by Ram Subramaniam Sahab that yojana is having different values in different texts, is because we are having some missing link, and we have to understand the different connotations under which this yojana is used. So you can see in Vishnu Puran, the 7 lokas are defined in a different manner, and higher lokas, Bhu, Bhuvar, Swar, Mahar, Jana, Tapa, Satya, and every lok, the yojana is defined differently. Bhu yojana, Bhuvar yojana, Swar yojana. So I have taken some of the examples in higher worlds, how they are taken, how the values are actually chosen. So in case of higher lokas, the Jana yojana, like that is Nar yojana, which is called, how they are used. I'll give you those examples. And the lower yoga, just now you have heard about this Ayurveda, and in that case also, this smaller world, microscopic, somebody today in the morning referred, सपिंड की बात करते हैं, पिंड ब्रह्मांड में हो चाहे वो हो, सब एक आप उसको एक साथ में कोरिलेट करते हैं. यहाँ भी आप देखिए कि द definitions which are taken for a cell in the lower world, that is also defined in terms of 10 to the minus 15 meter, 10 to the minus 10 meters. So that kind of thing is also found for the जिसको हम लोग तल, पाताल, अतल की बात करते हुए 7 लोक नीचे और 7 लोक ऊपर की तरफ बात करते हैं, and then all those measurements are found in those cases. For example, for cell, for atom, jiva, kundalini, jagat, deva. So see, kundalini, there was again a science of meditation. एक टेक्स्ट है जिसको हम लोग कहते हैं विज्ञान भैरव तंत्र. Vijnan Bhairav Tantra is 112 sutras in which there is a samvad between Shiva and Parvati. Parvati asks कि हमको क्या करें जिससे कि अपने को कहीं पर एकाग्र चित्त कर सके. All the 112 sutras are similar. किसी एक को आप प्रैक्टिस करिए. Why it is called Vijnan Bhairav Tantra? Because your body is an experimental lab, and the method which is being prescribed is scientific. Scientific in what sense? And that was simplified later by Gautam Buddha, which you call mindfulness, which you call vipassana. All those techniques were perfected by simplifying those sutras which are there in Vijnan Bhairav Tantra. So this Kundalini has also got some meaning which we cannot find otherwise anatomically, but that is there, which we have found in many texts. The yogis, they try to, जैसे कुंडलिनी जागरण की बात करते हैं, वो वहाँ पर आपको मिलता है. तो ये आपके तमाम लोक हैं, 7 लोक ऊपर, 7 लोक नीचे, और इन सभी लोकों में जो definition of measurement है वो अलग अलग प्रकार से है, and the yojana which I am talking about, which has got some confusion in terms of its length, how much miles one yojana has. So I am still working in this direction, and I have found many texts. So in coming days, I'll definitely try to resolve those issues. तो अभी आपका ध्यान इतना तक ही सीमित करते हैं, and I'll come to the next part, which is the second type of measurement, which is, these are all different kind of yojana in which the definition is given differently. The other important thing is the Harappan settlement, which is found to be the advanced urban planning, town planning. All these ratios which are found in those houses are in perfect, for example, granary, they are in the ratio of 4:3. How many bricks are in the length direction, how many bricks are in the width. So that is also nicely studied, and that study is all found. The building in HR area, the college, block 6, pillar hall, these have different dimensions, and if you find the error is very minimal. And this is what the town planning is, in which different rooms, different facilities have got different ratios, and that is what Dhulavira studied by Michael Danino. This is all published work, is secondary source by others. So, and this is what the planning which we have, and the bricks which were used, measured in angula, they were also found in terms of their dimension, length versus height, or the LWD. So that is all documented. It is not that all the bricks are different size. They are all made of same sancha, jo dai hai, that is all same. I was talking about this Purush Shukt Vayu Mandala, and this has also got an important connotation. You see how well they used to prepare the Havan Vedi. If you have to understand the concept of weight as well as volume, different size की हवन वेदी और उसमें कितनी आहुतियाँ आप डालेंगे, that was all calculated. And ये जो different purposes थे कि किस प्रकार का आपका shape होगा कुंड का, हवन कुंड का, और उसका dimension क्या होगा, उसमें कितना उसका volume होगा, और उसमें कितनी आहुतियाँ आप डालेंगे. ये भी मुझे लगता है कि इस पर वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स पर बात होगी, and that is all nicely covered if you talk about one aspect, that is measurement. Coming to time we have again, this is again a much talked about, debated topic. How निमिष पलक झपकने को कैसे आप लेंगे, एक कमल का पत्ता लेकर के उसके ऊपर आप पियर्स करते हैं नीडल से, what is the time taken. But if you go into the text, you will find there is a statistics. 100 times, 1000 times you do, and then you take average. So that is what they use to determine what is the time unit for measuring. And these are all defined in different context. एक दूसरा concept था अक्षर. आप सभी जानते हैं कि माहेश्वर सूत्र अ ई उ अ ड़ री री कर, जो शंकर के तांडव नृत्य के बाद जब उन्होंने डमरू बजाया तो वो जो 14 माहेश्वर सूत्र हैं उन्हीं से संस्कृत का जन्म हुआ. अक्षर का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है, जो आप कोई उच्चारण करते हैं, उच्चारण करने में कितना समय लगता है उसको क्वांटिफाई कर सकते हैं. दिस इज़ वन सच स्टडी इन विच ऋग्वेद की डिफरेंट सूक्त, इनको अगर आप उच्चारण करें उसमें कुल कितने अक्षर हैं और उन अक्षरों को उच्चारण करने में कितना समय लगता है, टाइम इन सेकेंड्स. इफ़ यू प्लॉट इट, you will find two different paramparas, southern Indian context and northern Indian context. You will find the number of akshara when they are pronounced. That is another measure where you take akshar as unit of measurement of time. And we all know, while having this Janaganman, the Rashtragan, you take 52 seconds to get it completed. So that way, this kind of concept was also there, in which akshar was quantified. So Akshar was a basic unit, and I have taken this work from R.N. Iyengar. He has studied in detail, and whole range of such kind of measurement units are there if you talk about. And if you look at Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 17, you'll also find that what is the definition of yug, how different ages are there, and how can we, Sri Krishna, he explains that how this yuga comes one by one, जहाँ पर आप पा सकते हैं कि कैसे define किया गया. ये अलग से एक दूसरा manifestation है, which I wanted to correlate with the modern concept that how this geological period is divided. And the modern concept is that glacial periods, after that the civilization comes for 10,000, again it goes into glacial period, right? Is because of precession of equinoxes. So whole range of such kind of the domain of this time was divided into different kalp, mahayug, yug, brahma ka yug. ये सब चीज़ें पहले से ही इस तरह से लोगों ने कहा. So my point is that when you are going to study, you have to take the way they used to define, they used to have their definitions instead of projecting our idea into them. Then you will be misled. Otherwise, everything they try to put in a more logical and systematic manner, which is very much, I will not say closer, but in some sense you can say that this is much advanced in terms of their definition. So again the time has nimish, kast, kala, muhurt, ahoratra. Or why we required this? Because I talked about astronomy, I talked about this Phalit Jyotish, calculating muhurt is important, and that is all done based on mathematics, which was known to them very dearly. So I will stop here. I will not go into those details. The point was that these are all documented. Only thing is that there are many missing links which need to be understood, and also instead of looking at the secondary sources, we have to interpret the text which is there in secondary sources with the original ancient texts. And a lot of things can be done to understand, to re-establish the original context, original idea into the context. Thank you very much.